Thanks to all our active patrons who have contributed a lifetime of $100 or more to reach Garuk Dong level status.
Here is the list of those special patrons in order of contributions.
If you would like to support our show, check out the CommanderSmiths at patreon.com. Welcome to the CommanderSmiths.
We are the CommanderSmiths.
I'm Adam Smith.
And I'm Lowery Smith.
Don't worry.
We're cousins.
This is episode 207, one away from big number 4 years of the CommanderSmiths and our retirement. No, I'm just kidding. Done it 4 years, hanging it up. No, I'm just kidding.
Is that how real work happens? Or
isn't that what our contract was when we started this? We're like, we're going 4 years and then that's it. We're not going any less, not going any more. We are done.
How drunk was I when we had this conversation?
No, just kidding. No, we are not going away for a long time. We'll probably be one of us dead before we're done doing this, right?
I'm just going to assume that magic ends.
Yeah. There is no end to magic. Okay, so what are we doing today? What did we do last week again? It was what did we do?
Sideboards.
I just looked at sideboards.
We did.
I just looked at it. What are we doing this week on the podcast?
We are going to be talking about the reserved list and specking. We're going to spec a little bit on the reserved list, but we're also just going to talk about how over the last 4 years, essentially, kind of like how we're specking now.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the whole history of it, because you got to listen.
Yeah. Go
the last 206 episodes, probably the first 2 years we spec'd every episode.
Right, exactly. And first couple is, well, if you would have listened to the beginning with reserve lists, you'd be making some money right now. Because we spec'd on all of us doing was reserve
we definitely
list.
named like 100 cards, and so we are easily going to be right somewhere.
Yeah. Although it was nice because it wasn't Ibukaki that came back and was like, man, I wish I was listening to you guys then or something, because he's listening to the old episodes.
Yeah.
And I think he was checking our work. He was like, I'm going to see if these fuckers knew what they were talking about.
I think he was just being nice. He's a nice guy.
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh about that.
Say what? Accurate.
Yeah. I love you, Ibukaki. I like saying his name.
Who?
Ibukaki.
Yeah.
He books hockey. He likes to play hockey. What are you drinking there, Lowery? You got a nice little dark beer there.
Yeah, actually, it's a mixed drink. It is.
A what? A mixed drink?
It's a mixed drink.
Baba da boopy.
It's some Founders Breakfast Stout, and then also.
You had to taste it to remember what the other part of it was?
No, I'm just gonna.
You gotta grab it.
Too many words. So it's Toppling Goliath Fresh Batch Series Cinnamon Roll Pastry Stout.
So wait, are you supposed to mix those two together?
No, you're not. But this one right here is really like syrupy, thick, really sweet, and really low carbonation. And so it just wasn't very good. And so
you've made it better.
Like it was fine for like maybe half of a can.
Mm-hmm.
And so then this is motherfucking.
I can see it looks like a baby face. Is that a kid?
Yep.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Does that work?
Stout. Got it.
So it's a breakfast stout. Founders is really good with their breakfast stout, and it has a bit of coffee, a bit of chocolate, and kind of mellows out. They're the only two beer I have, so I'm just working with what I got.
I'm in the same boat. I'm still finishing up the whiskey and coffee whiskey, and precast I was drinking a honey whiskey. So now my whiskey is like a mix between what was left over from my honey. And so it's like a honey coffee whiskey.
Is it good?
It's actually pretty tasty. I like it. He likes it. Okay. So what did you do this last weekend? You guys went up to Lutzen.
We did. Yeah, we went to Grandpa's place and, met up with my brother's family and let the kids play together and got outside, did some sledding, did some snow fort making, and
it was the week
Yeah.
get out and do stuff because for once it wasn't like 15 below.
Super cold. Yeah, we drove up like Thursday night. Friday was like coldish, like hovering around 1 degrees. And then the next day it hit like 20. I was like, okay, let's get outside. It was nice.
Yeah, we went. It was my youngest Zeke's birthday. He turned 5. We broke.
It was cold down here though, still in the cities, right? Or I guess
no, it was in the mid 20s on Saturday.
Okay.
On Friday it was colder though. Yeah, okay. we were. I think it did get negative temperatures at that point. We broke him out of school on Friday early and took him to a pool with a water slide. And then we took him to Space Aliens after that and then came back and...
Is that like an arcade?
Yeah, think of like good food Chuck E. Cheese. Like you can actually order food and there's a little play area.
What's wrong with Chuck E. Cheese?
Have you been to it in a long time?
It's not since freshman year in college.
Oh, dude, it's bad now. All it is ticket games. Like there is no... It isn't like when we used to play like the Simpsons game. Remember we used to jam on that or, Street Fighter or whatever.
Maybe.
Like all it is now is ticket games. And all it is like just pressing one button and then it spins a wheel and there's so many tickets you win. Like it's just terrible, terrible, terrible games. And then the pizza isn't as good as... Remember it used to be fucking fantastic pizza.
It wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No, your tastes have evolved just slightly.
No.
I mean, it's very similar to when you were a kid. Yes.
Oh, that's bullshit. It was fantastic pizza back then. Now it's like you can taste the cardboard that it was, cooking on. It's like, I don't know. It's just not good.
I mean, but remember the conversation, like the argument that I used to have that Little Caesars was the best pizza for the money? It's awful. It's awful. In the last 10 years, I'm just like, this shit is unedible.
Oh, so now you've changed
Absolutely.
Your mind?
It's
awful.
Wow. Yeah. My wife has
your
more
taste
money
buds,
than me. And so I've tasted good pizza now a lot more often. And I'm like,
yeah, I haven't had Little Caesars since you guys probably. It was like,
I regret it though. Like I used to be able to eat whatever, whenever, super easy, but now I'm like,
ew, icky.
That's not that good.
Except I could tell you were up at Lutzen with your brother because the first picture you sent on the Discord was a pizza sandwich. And what I mean by a pizza sandwich, it wasn't like it was like toppings like a pizza. He literally had a slice of pizza and a sandwich in between a sandwich. Like, what was the sandwich? Was it a breakfast sandwich?
No, it was just a ham and cheese. My son didn't eat it. And I was like, okay, well, I have pizza
I'm just gonna
and a sandwich. Yeah. It wasn't that good. Too much bread. Too much bread.
I was just like, you're with your brother because you and your fucking brother do all the crazy fucking food shit. Because one year we had guys weekend with Magic. You did a meat bucket.
That was fantastic.
You guys filled an ice cream bucket up with
we bought
various
3 pounds
meats.
of like bacon and then like a couple packages of brats. And I feel like there was some other meats in there too, but it was a ice cream pail full of meat and it was wonderful.
And then I don't know if it was the same year. I think it was the next year after that. You guys went and got like a crap ton of chicken patties. You made a buttload of spaghetti and you like put like 8 chicken patties in like 8 chicken patty spaghetti sandwiches.
Yes.
I just remember you put down 8 chicken patties at one sitting. And the gas.
It was spaghetti and the sandwiches. And the gas was really bad, apparently.
It was really
It was fine.
It was fine. You're fine.
They weren't that bad. I've had much worse.
Well, yes, I imagine, but that was bad. It was... You stunk out that whole level of Magic was not being able to be played because of your ass.
No, that's not even true. You're overreacting.
You're fine.
It was like a fart cloud, yes, but it was like... It wasn't like a 7-layer burrito fart.
Oh, I can't imagine those, man.
Bad. Yeah. Okay.
So, farts and food. So, yeah, we went tubing on Saturday for Zeke's little birthday party. And everybody was out. Like, it was freaking crazy. Mm-hmm. And then I proceeded to see pictures on Facebook of other friends, all that were at the same tubing place. So, it was just insane. Like I had to park a mile away from the tubing spot, and they had like a shuttle service picking people up and bringing them to where you tube.
Busy.
Yeah, but you had to schedule a time, so they were still trying to stay with COVID protocol and whatever.
Right on.
And then yesterday was just hanging out on his actual birthday. We watched Free Guy for the 4th time. Great movie. You need to watch it. I think you would like it.
I'm not going to see it. But.
Very good movie. So, that's it for me. I don't really have much more than that.
But we do have a giveaway.
Oh, should we do that right now?
Let's do that right now.
Or should we make people wait?
No, because then it'll be attached to something else. And
that's a good point. Do it in the morning?
I don't know.
I like to do it in the morning. I'm always so tired. All right. We have some giveaways to do here. Now, unfortunately, we don't have another one going this month. If we had another extra week like we did last month, we would have beat the record. We were just shy, just under 400 downloads, and we would have beat the record. It was probably like 370 is all we needed.
But it's our second most downloaded
month ever. So we're very close. I put it towards we needed an extra week, and we would have got it. But we're going to give away this wedding ring to the Twitter follow, the people that tweeted out, followed the directions and everything like that. You'll get the regular wedding ring. We are also giving away to our patrons that are $5 or more the full art wedding ring there. Yeah. And also a quip. Woo!
I saw more people wanting the quip than the card. So
yeah.
Number 2 has some competition.
Yeah. So there's a lot of freaking people in this here. So why don't you start us off with the Twitter giveaway?
All right. Twitter,
let me get some drum rolls.
Roughly 40 people
that followed the directions.
I mean, I didn't cross-reference.
All right, you ready?
All you have to do is be...
do you have a cowboy hat? Is that what you're
I do.
That's awesome. Oh, is that Grandpa's cowboy hat with the...
It is Grandpa's cowboy hat.
With a gunshot hole in it?
I don't think I...
Yeah. Nice. All right. Drum roll.
All right.
So the regular wedding ring goes to...
At Epic Wicked Gnome.
Oh, congrats.
Congrats.
Epic Wicked Gnome.
Epic Wicked Gnome.
So all you have to do now is just direct message us on Twitter there, and we can get your address and everything and send you the sweet wedding ring. Thank you guys for that. Which one should we do next? The quip first?
Do the quip last.
Quip
Everybody
last?
wants the quip.
All right, so the first one I am going to draw. I can't see it. Oh, I should hit the drum roll. There we go. So for the full art wedding ring, it goes to Jacob Newman.
Nice.
We had a couple Jakes. So
we do.
So congrats, Jacob Newman. That is your wedding ring. There you go. Hello, boobies. That is your wedding ring there. Nice. Now for the main prize.
Did you make a box just full of number 2, or is this just still?
It'd be funny if I did draw him now that you said that. All right, let's hit that drum roll again. For the quip, the full quip, but not just the head of the quip. It is going to Ben Weber. Weber. Yeah, Ben Weber. You are getting that full quip, not just part of it. You're getting that.
I feel like we should just give away a quip until number 2 wins a full one, because he's never going to buy it. He's had it for a year and a half at this point.
He could just go to the store and buy one, and then he just has the. But you signed it. He's not going to use it.
Yeah, he's going to get like black permanent marker
right
on his teeth.
Thank you guys, everybody, for
Thank you.
Tweeting out for Twitter, and for the patrons. You didn't really have to do anything. You guys are awesome for supporting the show financially.
Yes.
You can also support the show by joining the donating on Patreon. $1 or more gets you into the Discord. $5 or more allows you to enter into these giveaways for free without doing anything. If you're $5 or more, but it also allows you to pick out proxies each month. And you can pick from any of the proxies we have. So you have the common level, uncommon, the rare, and the mythic. Depending on your level, you can get regular cards or foils. The foils look freaking fantastic.
Yeah.
So that is a big thing. Do we want to say what we were kind of talking about precast, what we might be doing with playing with people in the Discord?
Yeah, we can do that. I mean, you just said it, right?
I could cut that out.
We're going to start taking a day and
every
once
month
per month and just be like, hey, we're going to play.
Yeah. So
we'll play the Discord.
Especially right now with, people being indoors, not even that it's COVID, but also winter, people are more indoors.
If you're a patron that isn't really involved in the Discord, this might have you come over and hang out a little bit more, at least on those days that we decide. And we hope to see
and it'll be like
everybody over there.
It won't be like a late night start. We'll probably start middle of the day or something like that, and you can jump in whenever and all that. So we'll kind of put a day aside. And so we had that going before when COVID was really going, then it kind of fell off this summer. And so we're kind of going to bring that back. Okay, so that is the financial way to support the show. The free way to support the show is to jump on YouTube, subscribe. That is a big thing. Push into 1,000. We're almost there. We're getting close.
Yep.
But the other thing is watching videos, such as our bi-weekly video, which is Curated MTG. And what was Monday's Curated MTG? It was a nice little red card there.
Radiate. It is a 5-mana instant, 2 red, 3 and 3. And whenever there is a instant or sorcery that targets only one target
creature, or one creature,
it could be a player or creature. It might be creature. I think it's just permanent or player.
Now you're gonna have me.
Pretty sure that's what it is. It doesn't matter anymore.
Keep going with it.
But basically, you get to cast Radiate, and that will copy it for every target that it could target. So it's kind of like a Zada Hedron Grinder or a.
It does say single, permanent, or player. So.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense because I use Generous Gift as an example in the video. And so you could blow up every single permanent
thing in the game.
And everybody gets a bunch of
elephants.
A bunch of elephants. And it goes crazy with Magecraft, just like trigger with all those copies. So it's kind of a sweet card.
Yeah, I like that. I like that card. It seems pretty sweet. So big thing on those is watch those. You can watch that on YouTube, or you can also watch that on TikTok if you like. But watch those, give it a like, and shoot comments on there. You can also
like it. Likes are the easiest thing. Just
and then move on.
I like it twice every time.
How do you do that? You like it and unlike it and then like it again?
No, I like it on ours and then I go over to mine.
Nice. Cheater! No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, you could also see another weekly segment or bit that we do is Proxy Time. Yeah. Do that every Sunday at 7:30. Oh, no, Curated is not live. The other one that's live. Wait, let me back it up. Yeah, I know.
Let's talk about Proxy Time. Proxy Time is phenomenal right now because you're doing the swords. They're crazy looking good.
So
especially from the double masters.
Live is at 7:30. Yeah, I started the swords. Gonna finish the swords. I started with the double masters art. They look really good, but then I also added in would you consider that the old school art? Is that the old school? I mean, there's an older version of all these swords. It's kind of like the middle range.
Yeah.
Right? It's the ones where the swords actually have the really vibrant colors on them. So I am using those as well. Those turned out pretty good. So each one's going to have 2 arts with it. And so I'll finish up that cycle. And like I said, Sunday, 7:30. Come by, check that out. Give us a hello, boobies. Now you want to give me a hello, boobies?
Hello, boobies.
I always enjoy that. Another weekly segment. God, I keep saying segment. Bit that we do is searching for the spotlight. And you did Dragon's Approach for their last 2 weeks?
Last 2 weeks, yeah.
And so, are you finishing up this week? What's going on there?
I finished it. So
it is done.
Maybe this is technically lazy, but what I ended up doing was doing 2 different decks, but also I had my normal Calmax deck. So I kind of combined all 3. And because I had overlap on some cards. But the main reason was I was running out of perfect fits. And so perfect fit sleeves. And so I have a Spell Slinging Dragon's Approach deck, a Search for Dragons Approach deck, and then I have a kind of a combat tricky CalMax deck. And there, Soul Ring, some of the ramp cards, some of the draw cards, and there's some overlap there, but they're all doing different things, so they have different support cards. And so I have I feel like it might be an easy way to make decks for people that don't like cutting. Just make sure instead of having 120 that you just can't cut from, turn it into 150, but just make sure they're two relatively distinct decks. You can kind of switch cards in and out.
So like a sideboard is what you're saying.
Almost like a sideboard, but nobody listened to that episode last week, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's not it. Yeah. So are you doing your searching for the spotlights are on Thursdays?
Thursday nights, 9 p.m. is basically what I'm able to do. And this week is just going to be going through a bunch of my decks. And so I'm just doing switcheroo on this one.
So yeah, the Thursdays will be a different thing every week. Well, not everything, but sometimes it's searching for the spotlight. Sometimes my MTG switcheroo. Okay, so that is, check out that. That's live with Lowery. Live with Lowery. I like the alliteration on that. I don't get that. What would you do with Adam? With Adam
on air with Adam.
On air. All right, so that is that. You can also check out this podcast, anything that we talk about here. If you have a choice, I should say, of YouTube or listening to us, check us out on YouTube, because then you get to see us. You get to see what we're talking about. We do make references to things that you would visually need to see, and cards pop up as we're talking. So there is that. Mm-hmm. I think that's it for YouTube. There's a bunch of other bits that we have going on. Lots of things in there. So the biggest thing is subscribe to the channel. Another way you guys can interact with us is check out Twitter. That's where we post everything we just talked about there. But it's also where you can direct message us. You can vote for certain things. Oh, I better get that button ready. That's like my reminder. I was like, got to start moving to the button. You can also direct message us by shooting us an email at CommanderSmiths@gmail.com. And that is the best way to send the suggestions for this. It's time for everyone's favorite game show, Stump the Smith Savant. All right, if you don't know how this game works, I am going to read the flavor text of a card, and Lowery is going to try to guess the card by asking yes or no questions. Every yes, you'll hear this.
Hello, boobies.
Every no, you'll hear this.
Wrong, 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 wrong.
He will get up to 5 wrong guesses before he is considered stumped. And this week's stumper is no other than Renshaw 25. And so what the stipulations are, the card has to be in at least 5,000 EDH rec decks. If Lowery is able to guess everything about the card but the name of the card, he will get an additional clue with the initials. I will give 3 clues, and then everything else is up to Lowery. So, all right. I think that's it, right? That's all. The prize. We are on week 3. One more week, and then we add on.
This week and next week.
Yeah. Yep. One more week after this week. So, the current prize is this nice retro foil Sword of Hearth and Home.
Gorgeous.
So that is the prize, plus the Keldon Warlord signed by us and all that. So, all right, you ready, Lowery? Here we go. This one's a little tricky here. All right, the library's scrolls have long since crumbled into swirling desert sands. The library's scrolls have long since crumbled into swirling desert sands.
Wasteland.
Hello, boobies.
You got it, you motherfucker. Holy shit. Oh, damn it. Do you remember it from the Secret Lair?
Yeah.
Oh, you remembered it from... Damn! Redshot, you definitely have to sign cards, because he got it off the first freaking guess. I don't think you've done that in a long time, dude.
It's been a while.
What are we
It's
going to
been a
do? We
while.
got to make our next segment go longer because that was way too quick.
So the only reason why I got this probably was because I just remember Ted talking about how in the Secret Lair, it's Library of Alexandria in the Wasteland art.
That's
And I
one of
was
the
like-
clues.
Yeah. Was it? Okay.
Well, my art was features what looks like to be a certain banned land destroyed. Was what my first clue. And then the text
Yeah.
features mana and unique destruction. And then it's in... So the funny thing is I was talking with Renshai earlier. I was like, do you want to go with the Secret Lair Wasteland? Or do you want to go... Like, would you have gotten... Do you know what the flavor text of the other one is?
I mean, there's like 2 Judge
There's a lot.
Foils, and there's Eternal Masters, and then there's Tempest. So there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, this one has a lot of different like ones, but the one that I was gonna
Yeah.
do was the land promises nothing and keeps its promise.
I would have known that one too.
You would have got
probably.
it.
Not
Oracle
as quick.
and Vec.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not as quick, especially.
Damn!
One back.
Damn, you got that quick. That's impressive.
That feels good. That feels
I gotta
good.
say.
It's been a while.
All right, so the other stipulation is if you lose, you have the option of sending us that card signed. So please, Renshai, send us a Wasteland signed. No, I'm just kidding. But
Don't
you can
sign
send
it.
us if it's an expensive card. Send us a basic land sign. Send us 2 of them because I want one as well.
But you got to
'cause
draw
Lara's-
a potato on it for Adams.
Yes, I guess potato goes on mine because I don't like potatoes. And that is going to be posted right behind Lowery there. So not only when you send it in, you'll get a little thing in the background. I can see where you're going to put it right there. So, all right. So I think we're at 28 minutes. It's normally when we start actually like doing this segment.
I know.
It's so quick. All right,
Thank
let's
you.
go on to this.
I'm trying to move.
Or are you trying to do the bye, or are you just that excited? Bye. I'm impressed. I'm still kind of... that's impressive. Like I said, Renshai and I we discussed and we're like, I think your best chance to stump him is with the Secret Lair one. And I was pretty sure did you get that one? Did you get that Secret Lair, the Mark Pool one? With
Yes,
Birds
I
of
did.
Paradise?
I did.
Okay. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what I was
yeah.
like, that's the only thing I was like, maybe he'll get it there. All right.
Hey,
so
you could turn this one into a short. That segment into a short this week. That's gonna be great.
yeah, I don't even think I can because it's like me playing the intro, saying how the game works, and then 10 seconds later you guessing the card. Like that's literally what just happened. I read it twice and then boom, you got it. All right. So yeah, I don't even think I can cut that
And
one
really,
out.
you only had to do the one, and you interrupted me.
Oh, were you about to say it off the first one?
Pretty much.
Oh, good for you.
Fair enough.
Hello, boobies.
No, that's the wrong one.
Oh, good for you.
It's the only one I like pushing,
Oh, yeah. All right. So,
except for this one.
I don't want relationship. I just want
There you go, AJ.
I don't want to know.
yeah, I was going to say, you have to say, there you go, AJ, every time. And AJ gets very, very
All right.
happy.
So we're gonna talk about. Okay, we're talking about how we're specking now and why, right?
Pretty much. Well, and we're going to give you some reserve list stuff and some reserve list
Yeah.
cards.
What do you want to do
maybe
first?
Let's hit reserve list first. Let's get the So part of the reason too with the reserve list stuff is we're getting into tax season. So people spend their money at tax season. Last year,
Normal
lot of-
people do.
well, that's a lot of things catch a spike during that time. I mean, I remember my tattoo guy says the busiest time for him is right around tax season because everybody just uses their tax refunds and that's what they're using to get their tattoos done. So around like, I don't know, February or whatever through April, May, it's just he's booked solid. And Magic cards, I feel like see a similar thing. People start to spend their money again. You're out of Christmas. You're not having to save anymore.
Yeah.
And you're starting to get your refunds and stuff. For example, last year reserve list, that's the last spike. That's the last time we've seen a big spike across the board. We did that. The last episode was on thinking that with the stimulus checks and tax season that we were going to get another spike. I think things just kind of They didn't really spike. They did a little bit, but not much after that episode like we thought it was going to.
Yeah.
And so a lot of those prices have come down since then, but reserve list always gets targeted. It's like on a kind of a 1 to 2 year cycle where it goes up and then comes down and has a new plateau, goes up and comes down. So we have picked out each 3 cards that we feel are good specs, and we'll kind of give you the reasons why as we go through these. So, Lair, why don't you start us off with your first one?
So I'm going to go with Liege of the Hollows. This is 2 colorless, 2 green, creature, 3/4. If Liege of the Hollow is put into a graveyard from play, each player may pay any amount of mana and put that many squirrel tokens into play under their control. Those tokens are 1/1 green creatures. So obviously squirrels are a thing, you know. And right now you can pick this card up for $12 on in this. I'm looking at MTG stocks, and so they're saying market price is $12. What market are you shopping at? Come on. No. That's Community. One of the best lines ever. All right. So this has a high of $48 from last May. You're probably getting that with like maybe some Chatterfang hype. But squirrels are a thing. People love squirrels. This, and again, reserve list. This isn't going to be reprinted. And this can make a ton of tokens. And so with that spike, you can kind of see before at Double Masters last year, this was sitting around $2-3. And then Keldheim hits and it kind of goes up. And that's when that initial spike was happening. And then Modern Horizons 2 comes out, Chatterfang spikes it up to that, you know, that big number.
Yeah.
And now it's back down to 12. So what you were saying earlier is right. Like there's a new kind of plateau and it's not $2 or $3. It's probably going, you know, this might still kind of drop until the reserve list starts moving again, but squirrels are a thing.
Right. If it seems like they hit squirrels every year or every other year. You know, we got, like you said, Chatterfang. We also got what's his nuts? Not no pun intended, but what's his name from Kaldheim? What was his name?
Oh, that might have moved him up. Squirrel. I don't remember his name.
That one, it's good. It's a good green card.
Toski.
Yep, Toski. You're right. Toski. Yep. Toski is just a good card in general, but it turns out that it's good with squirrels. You know, it's for every creature that does damage, all that. So it seems like they know. I mean, they do know that squirrels are a thing, and they're going to keep hitting squirrels. And anytime that they keep the next squirrel thing that comes out, this will spike right back up again. If they make another general, this thing will hit 30, if not higher again. You know, that's easy.
And so I think one of the things with probably this card is like looking for that spike and seeing if you want to sell at that spike. And if you don't, again, reserve list cards like never going to get reprinted.
Yeah.
And so you can hold if you're lazy on it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think there's any real danger in it, except for, you know, America,
well, I'll tell you,
decaying into nothingness. But
I bought before or in that the Chatterfang hype at like the $10 range or whatever it was, and I still have copies. I sold a couple. I still have copies. I'm not concerned that it's dropped back down to where I bought it about, you know, because it's gonna go back up. You know, if I was concerned with it, I would have tried to drop it at like $20, but I'll just wait because, like you said, reserve list. The longer that this sits there, more people are buying it. Goes into their collection. That's the difference. Is like these disappear into collections. Not everybody's specking on it. It goes into their collection and never see the light of day. I mean, that's at least one copy has done that in my collection. You know,
it doesn't go back into the market,
right? So, and there's no way of printing this again. And that's the same thing with all these that we talk about. So we're not going to reiterate that same.
What's your first one? I want to say it for every card.
I'm gonna so we can make the episode go really long because we were so
Yes.
short with the other
I'm
part.
sorry.
I'm gonna start with my lowest, I think, on the list, but I really like it. It's just my favorite. I'll save for last.
Okay.
But Shallow Grave is a black instant. It's one colorless, one black, and it's put the top creature card from your graveyard into play as though it were summoned. That creature is unaffected by summoning sickness. Remove the creature from the game at the end of turn. So we have similar cards that do that. This is used a little bit more in, isn't it more legacy stuff and all that?
It can be,
Vintage?
yeah, for sure.
But this only has about 90 listings on TCG at this point. The current price is at 24. It is in almost 1,800 decks. So for an old card, that's actually a lot, because a lot of these don't get play. And then as of last April, which is the last kind of reserve list spike, this was as high as 54. So you're looking at a $30 increase from last year to this year. The fact that other formats besides Commander can use this is also a really intriguing to me. So
That's a very good point. So another cool thing, just to talk about the card a little bit, but Shallow Grave being an instant, you can bring back, so like if you discard or get one of those Eldrazi Titans that mill your graveyard or shuffle your graveyard back into your library, you can instant speed bring that back into play and attack with it.
So you're saying like the the Kozilek Butcher of Truth or whatever his name is. So it's hitting the graveyard.
And
And
that
you can
trigger
target it.
happens, and then
You
you
can
can
target
target it to bring it back
before
into
it
play.
shuffles in.
Yep. And so it won't shuffle. It'll shuffle your graveyard still, but you'll get
But
an
it won't
Eldrazi
shuffle
Titan
in.
for the turn, and then you can attack with it potentially, and then
That's a pretty
it'll
good
be
trick right there.
exiled.
Yeah. But you get to annihilate somebody, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I like that. I like that idea.
So
What is your second pick there, Lowery?
this one's a little spendy, but lands property's always a good investment. I'm going to talk about Winding Canyons.
That's a good one.
It taps for colorless, or you can pay 2, tap it, and then until end of turn, you may play creature spells as if they had flash.
That's just
and
a
so-
usable thing in Commander. Like,
Yes.
This is just a really good
Yep.
card.
People like Vidalcan Orrery, Leyline of Anticipation. This is just it on a land, works in those other, having this type of utility stacked onto a land is very useful. Right now, the market price says it's at $33, $34. And its high is just about 70, and that's almost a year ago, last February.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can, as it being a land, I can easily see that's a double up. And I think it should be used a lot more.
Yeah, the thing about this is like it hasn't been really below $20
Yeah.
for like 4 years. So like this is a good card. And we talk about utility lands as being like things you should kind of invest in. It's kind of an afterthought, but really those can really fine tune your decks. And this is one of those cards, being able to play only for 2. It's kind of 3 because you're tapping
And
this.
3. Yeah.
But 2 to make you play or be able to cast any of your creature spells at flash. It's pretty sick.
It's a pretty sweet card. So at the very least, I would say every card that we talk about probably get into your toolbox.
Yes.
And so,
At the
a
very
lot of
least.
these, maybe I'll save the thoughts. No.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Go ahead.
One of the things that I was thinking of, normally I personally spec on the cheaper reserve list cards, just because just cheaper investment. You don't have to do a lot. There's higher.
Where we're at with
potential.
that now is like there isn't very many.
They're pretty bad.
Yeah,
They're pretty.
the ones
There's
that
a
are there.
couple of them that are kind of interesting and kind of cool, but at the same time, like I'm pinpointing cards that have a pretty high ceiling that we know of at this point.
Mhm.
I'm talking about, double, triple ups that we know of that it's hit. And so it's kind of a little bit of a timing of the market, but Right now, these cards have dropped lower than others, and I think they shouldn't have dropped down that much.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of why I'm talking about these three. And
Well,
so that's the reasoning behind it.
We've talked about it before, price memory with everything. This has seen almost $70 in price. The fact that it's been there before, it's easy for it to get there again. It means people have paid for it at this price. I can easily see this card 5 years down the road being over $100. You know, like this is a good card. The only other card that's like it is the land that is blue green, and you do it the same thing.
Alchemist Refuge.
Yeah, but you're specific to a color, 2 colors, in fact.
Mm-hmm.
This goes in any deck you want because it isn't a color.
So
yeah,
it's really, really good.
It's really good. Okay, my next one is also a land. This one is Undiscovered Paradise. This comes in and you can tap it right away. You can add 1 color of mana to your mana pool at the beginning of your next untap phase. Return it to its owner's hand. Now this is just cool because like landfall is a thing, and this allows you to always have landfall if you want. You can tap it, bring it back to your hand at the beginning of your your step, and then able to play it again, and you just always have these landfall triggers. This one is 97 listings. It's currently at $14. It has been as high as 38 as of last May, and is in 751 decks. I think should be in more, but
probably should be in more.
You know, it goes.
But
in
it's been
pretty
over
much
$10 for what, 4 years? Like,
yeah,
that kind of price.
It gives you
with
any
not
color
knowing
is the
it.
other part of it.
Yeah.
It's any color land, so it should go in every single landfall deck that you have. It's just people don't know about all these really old cards, and the art's kind of cool. I like the art on this one as well.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. So there are some other versions of this. If you wanted to do gold border stuff and get it really cheap, I don't think you should go after that kind of stuff because they will go up, but they won't go up like this will go up.
Yeah.
I don't think this is as nice as, I don't think this is necessarily $100 card like Winding Canyons, but I think it could be a $50 card at some point.
It could be, double up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I can see that.
All right. So Lowery, what is your number one? Well, not necessarily number one. Your third.
It's my number one.
Is it okay? So you went that route too. What is your number one card, reserve list card to go after?
I have been talking about this card probably for 4 years. I think this is a fantastic card. It is Unfulfilled Desires. It was a curated about a year ago, maybe 8 months, but colorless black blue enchantment. You can pay 1 and a life, draw a card, then discard a card. It's super simple. It's super cheap to just activate and do it a bunch of times. Great in those draw discard decks. It is only currently $4.50 for the market. And it has seen a high of 55 last February. And it's you see a ton of cards. Even if you're not taking advantage of the graveyard, you just see a ton of cards.
Yeah.
You know, there are cards that take advantage of you discarding cards. There are cards that allow you, you know, whenever you draw or discard a card on the first time your turn, you draw a card. Like, it works well in a red, black, blue with Rael. Like, it's kind of just a really, really cool card.
And it's nice that it isn't the other way around where it's discard and then draw. It allows you to draw and be like, oh, well, this one's more garbage than anything I have in my hand. I'm getting rid of that one. Let's do this again and again. And it isn't a tap ability. You can do this as many times as you have mana and life to do this. So I bought this when you mentioned it before. So I have a stack of them just kind of waiting for it to get back up there.
Me too.
Yeah. And that's the thing is we're not promoting our stash. It's pretty much, I mean, we probably have a lot of these cards. I think all but the next one, because I sold out when it was at the peak. I've owned all these cards. If I didn't, I've owned them or own them currently. So, but yeah, this one spiking up to, what'd you say it got up to? Like 50 something?
55. And
it's now down to
$4. Yeah. It seems like a really, really good buy.
It's just silly. Yeah. All right, my number one card is Tithe. We've mentioned Tithe before. This one is it's more on the spendy side, like Lowery's second one. What Tithe is, it's 1 white, instant. Search your library for a basic plains card. That's good by itself right there. Or not even basic plains, sorry. Search your library for a plains card. So it can be a shockland, it could be a dual, it can be any of the fetchable ones. It's tap 1, search for a plains card. If you control fewer lands than target opponent, you may search your library for an additional plains card. Reveal that to all players and put that into your hand. Shuffle your library afterwards. This is just silly. Like, I don't understand why this card is not played in every white deck. You know, this is just...
Yeah. It's a really it's a good card. Where would you consider this next to like land tax?
I like land tax because it's a continuous thing that's happening.
But it only works if you're behind.
Right. This at least allows you to go get
one
something at least one.
And land tax is basics. This is any planes.
Hey, this would be a good staple versus.
Maybe.
Write it down. Land tax would win because people don't know about Tithe really, but
potentially, yeah.
It has 93 listings on TCG, currently at $23. Last February, $69. So this was way up there from the price that it's at right now. This isn't by far the most EDH rec decks out of all the cards that I even like looked at that were even in the talks of talking about, but it's 3,500 EDH rec deck. So this is actually should be used a lot more, but I mean, you could see this in just a monocolor deck, but this can go on multi because then you're able to search for those dual lands and shock lands and stuff like that. So highly recommend getting this card. It'll easily get back up there to that 69. Yeah.
Hello, boobies.
There you go. All right. So that was the reserve list stuff. We're still kind of doing our discussion here. So have you spec'd on any reserve lists? Have you actually bought reserve lists in the last year since everything kind of spiked? Or
I did go back around December when I did a Card Kingdom order. I picked up like another 6 unfulfilled desires.
Okay.
But those were like, I was just trying to get cards that I didn't own, jank, just, fill out my collection. And then I was just like, oh, that's cheap. Mm-hmm. And so I got a few more. But I haven't spec'd in general a whole ton.
Yeah, my specking has changed quite a bit.
And that's why we're having the discussion, because before it was a lot of work. You're going through sets and you're trying to find the hidden gems. Yeah. And I think you can still do that.
Yeah.
But it's a lot more work than you need to be doing.
You're right. I feel like with standard sets in general, they take a lot longer than the other things that we have available.
Yep.
I think the special sets are more of the things you want to go after. We'll get to secret layers in a little bit here, but like Modern Horizons 2, like fuck, there's so much good stuff in that, and things are so cheap, that the cheapest they've ever been. Like it just feels like it's easy money there, and it's so much better than anything that's in standard or anything that's come out in the last 2 years with that. You're just guaranteed that they're gonna go up. The fetches are gonna go up. These Esper Sentinel.
Let's focus a little bit on just that little bit. What you said is it's not. Maybe you didn't really say this. I'm putting words in your mouth, maybe a little bit. But
if it's a
standard
good, if it's
is
a
not
good
worth
statement,
specking.
I did say that.
You did.
No, wait.
Okay. Standard isn't worth specking. No matter if it's special, full art, foil, whatever. It's not worth specking.
There are probably cards that are, but you either got to get them before they hit the market.
Yeah.
Which those are always a bad thing. Like if you're being like, I know this card's going to be good, very rarely. You don't get the Smothering Tides very often.
Yeah.
Where you know before it hits the market that's going to be that good.
If you take out the special sets and just look at standard cards, you probably only have like 2, maybe 1 a year that are Smothering Tides.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and then you get the kind of like we talked about a couple of weeks ago. You get the monologue text. It's not bad. It's not bad.
That wasn't in standard. That's not in standard.
Oh, that one's in.
That's Commander set.
That is Commander.
Strixhaven.
That is Commander.
Yeah.
So why do we get you get the full art from the Commander?
They're in the packs.
That's
the
where
set
it is.
and
The Commander. They're in the collector boosters, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But even that though, like that was a right away. I spec'd on it. You know, that was one of the.
And it was wrong.
Few. Yeah, it is. I bought it for 13 and I can get it for 6 now.
Yeah.
The full arts. But so that's the thing. We thought it was going to be a Smothering Tithe, and when you really think about it, it's not.
Yes.
It's just
there are just so few, and then if you look at the special sets, I think you have better chances because they are a higher powered set.
Limited print runs. They aren't normally.
And talk about like double masters and stuff like that. Like that's probably the last time I really spec'd was double masters. When that came out, you know, I was trying to get a bunch of foils. You know, I think I picked up 8 to 12 foil Ash Barons just for my decks, but knowing that there was a potential for it to go up. You know,
I did a
foil
Academy
Springleaf
Ruins.
Draw. Yeah, Academy Ruins. There was and we're gonna have a new master set coming out, and I think that has a good potential to pick up foils. You know, remember we were talking foil Path of Exile, foil Basalt Monolith, foil Oubliette. Like,
yep.
Those were some great cards to go after and spec on. They haven't turned out, but it's a year and a half at this point. Like, and I'm playing with foil badass cards right now. I'm not disappointed in specking in those.
Well, and the thing is we're kind of spoiled with specs hitting quicker, like for like Secret Lair stuff and all that stuff. It used to be years all the time with specs. You normally weren't getting your spec to hit within the same year. And we've been kind of spoiled over the recent years with stuff. I think those are all good specs. They're going to hit. Academy Ruins, I was buying them for $20. I think they're 13 or something like that. The full art foils. Dude, that's going to be a $40 card at some point, you know, in the next 3 years. It's going to be up $40-$50. I'm not concerned with that one at all. But standard stuff just isn't stuff to go for. It is more of the special stuff. You need to go look at Modern Horizons 2 stuff. That's actually what I'd be looking. That's what I have looked at. I
Commander product, I think, is okay. Newer cards that are
I would
obvious.
say or like the bigger Commander sets, because those have a lot more stuff in them, you know?
The Strixhaven ones, yeah.
Yeah, like we did with that one. What are your thoughts with the Secret Lair stuff?
I mean, I think you've done enough that it's just easy money.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way to spec at this point, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's like for me, it feels like it's like a mini reserve list, you know, because they're not going to print that card, like that version of that card. That art is there. They're not going to have that same art again. You know, that's kind of done. So it's almost like a pseudo reserve list. So they print. The funny thing about the Secret Lairs is like even the bad ones end up being the best ones because no one buys them, and then the inventory that's out there, it's on print on demand. The stuff that's out there there's a fraction of the really popular ones, so they go way up. You know, like what was it, the kittens one, wasn't it? Something kittens. Every one of those is like a $40 card now. Remember I told you that? I think we've talked about on the podcast where somebody sent it as a bonus card in my thing. And at the time it was like $1. And then within about a month, it's like a $30 or $40 card. I was like, all right.
Kasali Line Slingers?
Yeah. Yep. It's just, thanks, buddy.
And so like Secret Lair seems like easy money. And I think if you're paying attention, I think that's the way to go. Like that's, if you don't want to do you don't want to do a ton of paying attention to and just look at secret layers, I think that'll work for you.
And with on the piggyback on that is like, don't just go buy every one of them. Get the ones where it makes sense, like where it's like the cards in it.
It's probably okay. Buy the full bundle, and then go deeper on the ones that you like.
Yeah. Well, if you have the money for it, but if you don't have the money,
I mean, you're spending.
Right. If you're there, you go. But like even the creators, it was the most bought secret layer. It's gonna take longer for those to hit, but they're gonna hit.
They're gonna hit.
And those are $40 cards before that, and they're gonna get back up there, if not higher, because they're all Phyrexian. I mean, you just got to give that a little bit of time. You have to wait for the inventory to drain out, but those will get back up there, especially now. If you didn't watch last week, the spoilers for Jin Gataxias is in Phyrexian, and we get what's her name in Phyrexian as well, the Planeswalker. Kiora.
Oh.
Did
I
you
didn't
see
realize
that
I didn't see that we got that in Phyrexian, but I knew she was
she's Phyrexian
turning into
art.
a Phyrexian.
So part of that video at the very end when they were like, oh, credits, and they did another little bit, and then she shows up in Phyrexian. So the Planeswalker stuff, everything's in Phyrexian.
All right.
So the Phyrexian thing is a thing. Like this is going to be a bit that's happening.
They
so those
know
will
that
go.
people like it. It seems like people have learned the language because Jin Gataxias was as Phyrexian. Like they didn't give you the actual English or whatever language. And so people translated it to
I thought they
English.
they gave you the English on the video.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody translated it before.
Yeah, no, they did it ahead of time. Yep. You're right with that. But yeah, when they did the reveal of them, it was they showed all the 35 versions of each card. But yeah, secret layers, I think you just kind of pay attention to what's in it. My favorite ones to go for are ones where the known cards in it are expensive, like you're going to get your money back. Like the one that's about to be delivered or sent out is the Crater of Behemoth one. Like that was a $40 freaking secret layer. And Lowery's slowly reaching for a drink, or what are you getting? A beer. Another beer. But the Crater of Behemoth one, it's like super special, whatever, a different art, or the kids' art.
Yeah.
One of those is going to pay for that whole secret layer. So just figuring that out in itself, and we don't want to make it just a secret layer talk, but that is what I've been specking on. It's made specking easier in a way, because I don't have to research and hope that people buy the other stuff out. Because old specking was actually, let's touch on this really quick.
Okay.
Oh, we're at an hour. Really quick.
That's fine.
So old specking was a card comes out and it's picking up the cards that make that card, like other cards that make that card good. Like normally it's a commander. Like for example, when Yuriko came out, that was probably one of the better ones that we've hit on. And I remember I was driving Drake to daycare and like texting you in the parking lot and like, holy shit. And then I'm on my phone, like trying to buy up as many ninjas as I could in foil. And that just, it sold out within minutes after that spoil. But that's how we used to do it, is like we were on top of when the spoilers came out and then picking up the things that we thought would go off with it. Well, the thing about that is, yeah, you'd hit on some, but you'd miss on a lot more. There's a lot of them you're just trying to figure out and try to buy it before everybody else is. And certain cards don't work as well as you thought they were. Just because it says ninja doesn't mean that people are going to use it,
Yeah.
So this is easier.
And I've bought, I have plenty of foils just hanging around that it just did not go, And so, like, I'm just thinking about like Feather. And it was just like,
I spec'd on Feather too.
And Oketra. And it was just kind of like, that didn't really work out. And I understand why now, but and I think that's still viable, but you need to be like, it needs to be very obvious. And sometimes they're slow, like Umbrus. Fear manifests like spiked cards, but slowly and like not all at once. And so like when it did come out, you didn't know that it was going to spike even. Like there was chatter on it. But
it wasn't even a top played commander.
No. And so
I think with that one is it's a unique commander.
Mm-hmm.
The uniqueness can sometimes make things go because it's not been done really before, you know?
Yeah. It's filling something that potentially is wanted. But so I think that way is still viable, but it's work.
Yeah.
And you have to be on top of spoilers because if you're like, oh, let's see what was spoiled yesterday. And
you're done.
You're already
gone.
overpaying, or you're playing on the spike at that point. And, you know, at this point, shit, you know, you can't buy any of the samurai cards because they all spiked a month ago at this point.
Well,
we didn't even, you know, it was a good assumption that samurais were.
They were in it, but they didn't. The samurais that people spiked on, like, and that's a good example right there.
Yeah, they didn't go up.
Well, they went up, but the thing
used.
is, it's like, they're not going to be used. Like the samurais that they're at least at this point that they're spoiling,
very different.
They don't work well with the samurais that were from before.
Yeah.
Ninjas, on the other hand, ninjutsu is going crazy.
Yeah.
Yuriko was a very good spec, which is something I spec'd on for my dollar to duels. That's your cue to hit the.
Oh, good for you.
Yep.
But you know that's the thing about that kind of specking is you're gonna hit and miss. And to be honest, I guess the other part of it is we have kids, and the podcast and us. We're doing a lot of stuff. We have a lot going on with the podcast and the bits.
Oh, good for you.
We have a lot of things going on that is podcast related. And so the time for me specking is very limited.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm actually really happy that Secret Lair has come along in the last 2 years because it's made my specking a lot easier. And then what ends up happening is those spec pay for the next Secret Lair and the next Secret Lair, and then actually makes me so I can buy these cards and this and blah, 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 blah. But the other part of it is like, is there any specking that we want to talk about with like, or we could save that for another cast, but like card sphere stuff or buy list stuff. You've just did a huge buy list yourself. Did you do any specs with your buy list or was it more toolbox stuff?
I mean, it was okay. Card sphere. I don't spec on card sphere. That's where I use my specs.
Okay.
So like one thing that I kind of tried to do a rule on myself, not saying anybody else needs to do this or anything, but it felt weird to use my specs to buy specs when there's plenty of cards that I didn't own but wanted. And so I wanted to make sure that I was turning specs into cards that I wanted and or didn't have. And so that's where Card Sphere comes into play, or the buy list from Card Kingdom. And so I'll send in the specs, either Card Sphere or Card Kingdom, and then I'm looking for cards that I don't own. And so generally I don't spec that way, even though like I'll turn around and spec on Card Kingdom or TCG or whatever when I'm buying. It's something that I'm trying to like make sure that it's different. Like I want to make sure that I'm attacking cards that I don't own with my specs, because that way I'm turning cards that I got cheap for some money and getting something worth more. So it's just kind of like trying to move up.
Yeah.
To whereas like when I'm specking, I'm at the card store looking through the 50-cent bulk rares or through their bulk, and I'm trying to find cards that I think is either going to go up or is underpriced a little bit, you know, and see the potential in them. And so that's where more of where I spec is, you know, like I can say like, you know, I spec'd on some new cards for sure. Like the extra turn that kills you at the end of the turn, the red blue one, but if you paid more, it was just an extra turn. Like, so I bought like 8 foils of those. I think it's Torrent of Souls, that 6 mana one that brings back all your creatures from the graveyard, but they're 1/1 spirits. Like, I got a bunch of, full arts of that.
Oh, good for you.
I think I still spec on standard cards, even though we just said don't do it.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah. But again, it's not a lot. I'm talking, right. I just said 2 cards. There might be 2 others that I've done in the last, I spent.
No, standard. I buy the cards that I want.
Yep.
I
buy singles. I don't want to buy boxes. I don't want to buy packs.
Although I do want to buy the new one a little bit.
Yeah, I do kind of want to buy Kamigawa.
Kamigawa
seems like a sweet box. I might buy that. They're getting me.
So they have some sweet art and stuff in this. So we'll see. This might be the first box we bought since like this. When was the last time we bought a box? Strixhaven. Oh, it's almost a year ago.
Yeah.
We're approaching a year. We'll be like 10 months in. All right. I think. Well, okay. So just to say how I do my specs really quick, to how you do yours. Mine go the kind of the different route where it's my specs lead into other specs, except I keep one of all those specs that I spec'd on. That was the beginning of when we started specking. Was I want to be able to get this card for free to add to my collection. Now it's turned into I want to make money so I can buy more specs and more specs. When I buy more toolbox stuff is the buy list ones. So when I buy list a Card Kingdom, I always make sure to get, depending on how big the buy list is, I try to get like 1 to 5 cards that I didn't own that are higher. Like that's where I picked up like Lion's Eye Diamond and all, like when I picked those up at $200-300.
Yeah.
That was a huge buy list order that was all specs. And then I made sure to knock out a couple of the higher end stuff like that.
And that makes sense too, because that's reserve list right there. And so you're buying a huge card that isn't going to really depreciate in price unless like Legacy tanks or something. And so like that also makes sense. Like you still want to be smart with your money. I was an idiot because I bought a lot of jank. Just like a ton of cards that I'm probably never going to play.
Video.
I don't know about
it made for a great video. It's almost 100 views, buddy.
It definitely made for a video. What?
Yeah, it's almost 100 views, buddy. Just you opening cards and talking about Jane.
All right.
I didn't even make a thumbnail for it because I was just like, well, whatever.
Yeah, I just shows what the hell was going on.
Yeah, no, it worked out. I got to figure that out. So that's on my list to do.
Okay.
But yeah,
so
people like watching opening stuff. It's like our kids. Our kids like watching fucking. I know your kids don't probably necessarily watch iPads as much.
But I buy stuff and then I make them sit down and I open it in front of them and they like that.
So it's just like the YouTube.
Same thing.
But yeah, early on, my boys loved Ryan's toy review. All he does is open up toys. They loved it, and like it's a thing. And that's if you go to Target now,
kids these
go
days.
into you notice where the
no,
magic
he has
card
his own
section.
fucking toy section. I've seen that.
Well, not only that, I'm just saying like just next time you go into where the magic cards section is, right at the beginning of that section, they have like the mystery eggs of stuff, like boxes of different brands of things. It's a thing now because of those videos. Like even Legos is on board with that, where you get a mystery bag. You could get a certain, one of 30 different whatever, and there's rarity to it.
So they've a boat.
Shit, I actually have that one. Hang on. I just passed it. I was like, when am I going to use that one again? That's funny that you did that because I was like, am I ever going to use that?
A boat's a boat, but the mystery box could be anything. It could even be a boat. You know how much we've wanted one of those.
Then let's just...
We'll take the box.
It's funny. I was just passed by that. Yeah. So anyways, I don't know. It's crazy. I think Magic opening packs they realized in the whole industry of everything else toys that they need to do the same thing. You need to get kids into lotto tickets early because they do put rarities to everything. It's like, okay, one more example. Zeke opened up Shopkins as one of his presents.
Cool.
And he opened a ultimate rare or something and then went nuts because it was super sparkly, and I was like, "That's a foil card." But I mean, that's what it is. It's getting him used to trying to get the rare.
What you should do is put some glue over his toys and throw some glitter at it and be like, "Look how special this toy is." Does that work?
Well, no, because what they have is like a pamphlet where you can look up the rarity of it. Then like
Beckett.
Yeah,
it's a Beckett. I used to do that shit. I had a monthly Beckett subscription from my step grandparents. And every month I'd sit down and look at how much my Ken Griffey Juniors and my Kirby Puckets were and total it up and do some fucking stupid math. And that was the punishment.
You still have those?
Yeah. The Beckets? No. But the baseball cards? Yeah. That was my punishment. If I was fucking around and not doing well enough in school, they take away my baseball cards rather than like video games or outside to play. Yeah.
That was before Magic or after Magic or during Magic or?
It was, the beginning of Magic.
Yeah.
I wasn't as into it because I didn't have a Beckett or Scry magazine.
Scry. Oh, I love Scry. A lot of people are listening right now. Like, yeah, that's a mechanic. It's a good, no, there was a magazine called Scry. Scryfall. Wasn't it Scryfall?
No.
Was it just Scry?
I think so. I don't know. I didn't have it. I just said I didn't have it.
Scry. I'm going to see if it was Scry. I feel like it was Scryfall. Oh, no, that's where we look up stuff. That's why I'm used to Scryfall. Yeah. It's Scry. It was totally Scry. You're right.
Okay.
But yeah, that's how you used to determine. That's when we traded Gaius Cradle for Keldon Warlord. Yep. That's
never trusted him since.
Yeah, I was like, hey, in Scry it said this is an even trade. We're all good, right, Lowery?
Yeah, wink, wink, hush, hush. I'm like, okay.
All right, let's move on to our final segment here. Is there anything else you wanted to say?
Nah, we're good. We're good.
All right.
If you didn't, I hope you figured out. I hope we were helpful. I guess it was just the tips, but bye. We don't use that button very often.
Yeah, that was a good point.
Excuse me, I believe you have my stapler.
Fight!
Staple versus! All right. How do you think last week went?
Pretty terrible. That's just a gut feel.
You need to get better at knowing when to be disappointed. Oh, fuck. I don't remember what you said. It was so fantastic. I showed it to Cindy and she laughed. You had one-liner after one-liner. It was fun cutting it up. I got it even more when I cut it up to a 3-minute video.
It was that was desperation right there.
What was the Panharmonicon one again? It's
what?
It can't even make pancakes.
A pan that doesn't make a pancake.
It's the worst kind of pan. You need to start writing these one-liners down beforehand. All right, so last week we had Conjurer's Closet going against Panharmonicon. What do you think happened there, Larry?
Closet one?
Yeah, it might be the biggest blowout we've ever had. I think
probably
this day. So, YouTube voted 88% for Panharmonicon. 88%. Just to tell you right now, that wins it there because YouTube was like our biggest vote in by far with it. Like it didn't, the amount of votes that you got. Wait, hang on. Yeah, it would have doubled it of what you got altogether for everything else right there. Just saying, the YouTube. So Twitter.
It was worse. Was it worse on Discord and Twitter?
No, we'll get to that.
Okay.
Twitter, 24% for Conjurers, 76% for Panharmonicon.
Okay. Fucking
Discord, man. They are all about your balls. 60% Panharmonicon. 40%. They made it look like it was a damn fucking fist fight. Like just this close ass battle.
Look. Although they are open to ideas and they're a bunch of thinkers and I like them.
To be honest with you, there's really only like a total of like 8 votes with Discord because I think everybody votes on the other stuff. Like Discord voting has gone way down as we've like promoted the other stuff, and everything else has gone way up.
Yeah.
Discord turns into like two votes, but it sounds better when I get percentages.
Yes, it does.
So total is 80% Panharmonicon, 20% to Cockatrice. I hope we have a better battle this week. What do we have going on this week, Lowery?
All right, so I'm excited because I am representing Back to Basics. It is 2 and a blue enchantment, and non-basic lands can't untap.
And
it's way better than whatever you're gonna say.
I am representing the mighty Blood Moon.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Boss Tones.
So this is red. Back to Basics is blue. They're both the same mana cost, both enchantments.
Clearly, that right there should be the
red
end of
is
the discussion.
amazing. Red
is the worst.
Red
and
is
blue is the best.
I make so many decks with red.
Alliteration. All right, yeah, okay. So what's it do? What's Blood Moon do?
Non-basic
again?
lands are mountains. The best kind of things out there. Mountains, Gandalf.
Yeah. Okay, so like.
All right, go ahead.
I get that turning non-basics into mountains sounds bad because mountains are bad and nobody plays mountains, so it just fucks everybody up. I understand that, but they still have mana to use.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're in...
What happens when you play with fetches?
What?
What?
Yeah, what happens?
Back to the basics, you get to use fetches.
That is true. You... Like a fetch comes into play for Blood Moon, and it's just a mountain.
It's just a mountain. Fetch comes into play. Back to basics. It's
you get
fetch.
to go get yourself a basic land.
No, this
is true.
You can get whatever you want, but yes, basic land.
You're
going to
go get a basic land so that you can.
But
keep
you can choose
the
a color. You'd be like, oh, I can get my color that I need, and I can get tapping.
This is true. This is all true, but it's.
What happens with like? What happens with
Back
like?
to Basics takes away mana. It's like a fair board wipe essentially for land.
But they get to decide when. I mean, they could use a Rogue's Passage once to kill you.
But you can play it when everybody's tapped down their lands.
That is true.
And then they don't get to untap it.
If you play it right and they have already used their non-basics, yes, then it is. But
if you play it early, they'll hesitate on playing spells because they want to make sure they have enough.
They still can use it though. Like they can use their lands.
Use the mountains.
No, they just turn into mountains. Like you said, people don't play red, so people don't like playing red, so it shuts them down. Because then, what are they going to use the red for? The color that they're not playing with. Well, there you go.
Exactly. Just the colorless mana that they need anyway. That's fine. That's easy. It doesn't shut down artifacts as well.
You know, many times Blood Moon, when I drop this, it shuts down the game for everybody else but me. I will give you, though, Back to Basics. I like the idea of when it comes in, it's not like the Vorinclex effect where it needs it to tap for it to stay tapped. If there's already tapped when this comes into play, they're staying tapped.
It just is there. So I think one thing too is like blue has a lot of enchantment synergies, and that gives it a bonus towards Blood Moon, because Blood Moon red just doesn't have any real enchantment synergies. It's just kind of there. It's not working in like any themes.
No,
you
just
throw it in to
hate
card.
Fuck people over, and it does.
It's a solid hate card, but you still get to play cards.
I'll tell you this too. It's in double the amount of EDH rec decks than Back to Basics. Just saying, we're not supposed to say that. Oh, we never even really talked about the rules of this anyways. We just kind of got into it.
We don't have to.
Yeah, people should know. Well, if we're cutting these up into little bits here.
Yeah. Okay, look. You got to choose between these two cards.
That's
all it is. You don't get to say both.
Yeah, you don't get to say that.
You don't get to say it.
Your deck is at least blue and red, and that is, it might be more, but there's only one. There's only one Blue Moon. That's the new. I want to make that
beer.
proxy.
It's just a wheat beer.
I know. I want to make that proxy now, just with the beer, and have both of the non-basic lands are mountains that don't untap, that would be sweet.
I mean, that's the okay. Let's see. Let's combine this card. And non-basic lands don't get to untap, and they're mountains. Which part doesn't matter?
Oh, come on!
I'm just saying, if they were turned into mountains, it doesn't matter because they're tapped. Tapped is just so much worse because you just don't get to use it.
If you're playing red, you got Mountain Walk, buddy. You're playing your Goblin decks with the Mountain Walks, your Goblin King. I would say the mountains matter.
I'm not even sure that.
I think the mountains matter, buddy. This is like a pseudo, like Yavimaya Cradle of Growth, where it's turning all the lands into forests, and your what's the other one?
It is. But it's okay. One of Red's best lands is Valakut, the Molten Pinnacle, and Bloodmoon shuts it down. It just like cuts off one of your best cards in the deck in a mono red deck.
I barely play with that one in my mono red decks.
Yeah, you're wrong.
I said I
but
barely play with it.
It might be because you're playing Blood Moon.
Yeah.
You're choosing one.
I'm choosing
over the
to, because the thing is Blood Moon. So many times I will play this, and it just allows me to fuck people up enough, disrupt their game, that I can do a lot of shit. Back to basics. I play blue decks. I think it's in one deck. I think maybe one. Do you ever put it in anything?
I don't put either in any of them. I try and not fuck with people's lands. Yeah. I mean, I could, but I'm a nice guy.
I would just say build a better deck. I would just say build a better deck. I would just say build a better deck.
You're looking for a button. You just don't know which one to press. Cool story, bro. All right. You got me there. All right. I don't know. My biggest points was shuts off fetches, shuts off utility lands. What do we say is one of the most important things in Magic? Utility lands. What having those lands. We just talked about it in this episode earlier.
Yep.
Blood Moon shuts them off. Back to basics. You can use those utility lands
if you have the mana, but it's like removal on your opponent on any land, but you're gonna play more basics that way as well and set it up. But hopefully,
I think. Look, so here's I think that the big it comes down to this.
You get a one shot with back to basics, and you get
back to basics.
You get a one shot if you're playing it later or not, doing anything with, and it's untapped. That's fine. Like I think it makes it so that people I wouldn't use the activated ability of a land if I'm going to be short land.
Yeah. Well,
I'm trying to play spells.
Unless it's actually benefiting you to maybe, like I said, Rogue's Passage, or you can use it. You're not able to
want to do that at the end and hope that somebody removes back to basics.
I think your biggest argument for back to basics is and should be the coming into play, and it's blue. You win, you always do. See, that's the other thing is people are voting. That's the other. That's what got me this week. I think last week's would have been like 90%, but like how many people in the Discord are like, I'm voting for Lowery. I don't care what the right move is. I'm voting for Lowery. And it was just like, you assholes. What did I do? I'm not. Lowery picks the scenario, and then if we both don't have a choice, then he lets me pick, and that's what it is. But everybody hates me.
No, it's just that we're part of a potato posse, and you're not. 25% of the discussions on Discord is about Adam not liking potatoes.
I know.
It really bonds us.
But it was funny this week because it was just like, well, I know Panharmonicon's the better card, but I said I was voting Lowery, so I'm Team Lowery. And it was just all over the place. I was like,
that was something that we're like, oh, Adams is way better, and everybody's like, yeah, I'm gonna vote Lowery. Then when it was released, they're like, oh, this is. I'm not gonna take this back. What? Adams is much better.
Yeah, no, so the biggest thing with Back to Basics, I do like when it comes in, if people have the lands, the non-basics tapped, they do stay there. So I do like that angle of it being a removal in a way of lands. Yeah. I do like that angle.
And I'm going to be very curious to see what Zero says that we missed on these
I know. I wanted to add into Zero's comments he's like, you missed this card again this week and this card. I'm like, Zero, you got to remember we're an hour and change in and how many drinks down. We're going to miss stuff.
2.5.
Yeah.
So. All
right. You guys can vote.
For Lowery.
Yeah. No matter what I'm voting for Lowery, doesn't matter what the card is. Right. You guys can vote for the cards either on the Discord. You can vote on YouTube on the community tab. You can vote on the videos because we are shortening these up to their own videos. So you can vote on there just in the comments below. We'll add that up as well.
Yeah.
And then the other places on Twitter will have the poll there as well. So we will announce those next week. I think that'll do it for this week. So we will catch you guys next week.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Bye.
Suck up.
I love boobs. I'm talking tatas. I love boobs. I'm bonkers for honkers. I love boobs. Thanks for the memories. I love boobs.